Today we are running the West Rim Trail with the St. George Jeepers. Here off on the right-hand side of the road, we have a Toyota Prius that's looking to join a Jeep trail ride. Or he's just hanging out. I don't know what he's doing out here. First little climb up. Oh no! I'm not sure if this is the official start of the West Rim Trail or it's up ahead a little bit, but so I included this. But for the most part, everything is, all the obstacles are included. I did cut out a lot of, just relatively straight, flat sand, just so that this wasn't a 3-hour plus video. But I did keep some in, some just to see stuff and some to see where turns are. This is a nice little ledge. It's a easy way to get you into climbing up ledges, and pretty much you can select the farther to the left it's much easier, flat, and a little bit to the right it's a little harder. And the Jeep in front of me, you see, he kind of gets over into where there's a bunch of sand for some reason. Not some reason for him, but I don't know where the sand came from. It's almost like someone shoveled it there, but he got in the sand and then couldn't quite climb up over that thing, the ledge. So we had to make a couple attempts at it. So you can see where I went up. I am avoiding the sand. I'm going to cut over to the right, and there's a little lip. It's just a little bit big, and I think it was the back tires that got caught on that lip, and it just didn't quite want to. It went a little too slow, and I didn't bump it. So even though I gave it a little gas or whatever, and it slid over a little bit, I had to go down and just give it a little bump.
Should we be four low?
Yeah.
Four low?
Yeah.
Okay.
But get caught up.
Four low. Okay.
Go in front.
Okay. She thinks she's four low. I'm not sure.
Now this yellow Jeep, we had to kept trying to get them to move all the way to the front so they could get a little extra help. But basically, they were brand new to off-roading their Jeep, and not going off-road necessarily, but having obstacles and putting it in four low and stuff like that. So they needed a little extra attention. And they're coming up to the obstacle known as the funnel. And they don't have lockers either, so as a newbie, not having lockers makes everything a little bit more difficult. But I'm not sure which Jeep the lady that's out there helping them is from. Not from their Jeep, but she was kind of out and about on the trail, giving them a hand quite a bit, so that was nice. And they did a pretty good job getting up there. Just had to give it a little bit of bump with some juice and get her up. So this is called the funnel. In the beginning here, they seem to struggle with where to go and what to do, and because they had taken a little bit of time, nobody was in front of them, so they couldn't see where to go. So I found this time while they were just stuck trying to figure out what their plan of action was, I just went around them. And then I think these guys were with them up ahead, and we went around them too. Caught up with the group. this is pretty much what you can tell is what the trail's got the name for, is that you are riding along the west rim of this whole little area. So like right near the edge of all this, there's a big drop, and you can just view out for miles. I mean, it's just gorgeous being here. This is a very pretty trail. I love coming through these little rock formations. Man, it's so cool looking. This area coming up is the toll booth. I think there's like 3 different areas. One's pretty narrow and not very doable. Then what they're doing is pretty much the easiest of the toll booths just to get the group through. And this one here is a little narrow at the end, and there's some of these rocks you just got to go over. I mean, they're not that hard as long as you just take your time and good wheel placement. But you can see it's like squeezing in here. It's super narrow. You're right on the edge of your mirrors, that's for sure. I'm just cooking through, and boom, back in line. Then after the toll booth, you take a right here, drop down into the West Rim Trail. I'm pretty sure if you go straight, that's West Rim Light, which is pretty easy. There's no obstacles on it, I think. But we're bunched up here just a little bit. Can't remember what. I think there's a climb right around the corner. Yep, and you can see it's a nice little climb. I think the key is you stick to the driver's side, and you can get up and over those ledges pretty easily. If you get towards the center, you can get caught on some of the lips or the ledges or whatever. The undercut ledges. I think I just remember you stay to the driver's side though. So I don't know what the name of that rock is right in front of that yellow Jeep. If she was to go straight up, that's the one that one of the first times we came here, we gave it a shot and ended up giving up. And then later, like a month ago, I think I came back through and I did that. But it's like you kind of get high centered a little bit and some bangs on your sliders and my drop down brackets for the rear differential, and so I decided I wasn't going to do that again, but at least I conquered it that once, so that's awesome. Look at this view, isn't that something? It's so pretty over there. So, and the whole time we're doing this, Bill is the trail guide is pointing out like different directions. So, like if you go to the right, that's very easy, and go to the left, you can do something a little harder, or like different areas have different obstacle difficulties. So it allows people with a less experience or a less built rig to still do this trail. It's rated a 4, so if you take all those bypasses, it's a 4. But if you take some of the harder lines, it goes up to like a 6 or more. I guess some of them on here are up to an 8. And anyway, so this is like one of the first sections of. So a lot of people just bypassed all this, and then this section over here. Now, I've done straight ahead, but I hadn't done the other ones, but I didn't know we were going to do this. It just looked like we were bunching up for some reason, so I just thought, well, I'll just go do this one here. Some people were climbing right there to the right, because that's a nice, easy climb. So it's got a little bit of rock there, and this one ended up being pretty easy for how big Alice is. But she's on 37-inch tires. I was at 12 psi for this trail. She has a 3.5-inch lift, metal cloak lift, and has metal skid plates. So after we did that, and they were talking about, if someone was interested in trying this wall, I don't know what the obstacle's name is, but if someone was interested, they could try it. And so this green Jeep, I think he was from Wisconsin. He did a good job on it. But basically, it's like there's kind of like a hole, and you're trying to stay on the driver's side hard and then come up and over that rock at the top on the driver's side if possible. But you can see it's real easy to fall in that center hole, and if you do, it kind of swings your Jeep around a little bit, and then you get offline. I believe he was going too slow at the beginning because it's such a steep first climb. You have to give it a little bump just to get moving on that thing first. So you can see when I go, I had the bump down, but I fell into the hole at the top. You can kind of see how that. But he was able to grab and climb right up over that rock, so that was awesome. He did perfect. So then I'm going to try. And then the front end of the Jeep and the back end just a little bit slipped over. And I got in a hole, and it was like, nope, got to go back down and reset. this time. I started to climb. I was on the driver's side, and I started to slide a little bit. I got in the hole, but I felt the Jeep grab just a little bit while I was giving it gas. So I just stayed on the gas, and then it grabbed, and boom, you're up and over. So that worked out nice. Now the key to this thing is you want to stay more passenger, because it's going to lift you up, but it's going to like then try to push you into this wall that's on the driver's side. So to give your Jeep a little bit of room to tip, you want to stay up high on that wall as you can, because as you're coming down, you're going to ooch closer and closer to that wall. You can kind of see what he did. And I just followed what he did, and I did it. Turned out perfect. I didn't touch nothing, so good instructions, and I followed him, so good job all around. So on this thing here, you want to make sure you're over on the driver's side a little bit, but not too far, because basically you want to straddle that hole, but you don't want to fall in the hole. I think you see me, I kind of fell in just a little bit. I was able to recover and get out. So I was probably over just a hair too far. For one thing, my Jeep is not that wide. It's a JL wide, but it's factory JL wide. It's still on stock rims. There's no spacers. So even though I'm lifted, it's like it's not, I don't have different back spacing or spacers on my rims to make my wheels pop out a little bit. So some of these obstacles I got to be careful, because I'm not as wide as a lot of the Jeeps that are out here, and Jeeps that may be spotting me. So on this wall here, he basically said, like, for the easiest line, like, you can take whatever line you want, obviously, but the easiest line is all the way over on the passenger side. And if you're narrow enough or far enough over, you can stay up on top and not drop down. So you can see there's just see how he just dropped off that? And I was just like, I'm a big enough Jeep, I can do this. And so I just rode down. I didn't even try to keep it. So the back end of the Jeep was, down off that ledge. But I guess if you do it just right, you can get that. If If you're a smaller Jeep, you can too. Now this Jeep, I think, not Jeep, this obstacle, you want to, I think you want to be on the driver's side a little bit, and then once you start coming over, you want to just correct a little bit to the passenger side. But it's a pretty good drop, and you can, I think, touch like sliders and stuff. You can see the black marks up on the rocks. So you kind of want to ride that side just a little bit before you make the drop, and you see how sharp the turn is at the bottom. It's a tight turn. Hard right.
Got it back up, yellow Jeep. Trail is down the right.
Now, this is a nice easy climb, but it is a blind drop. So the main thing you want to think about when you're doing this is you want to just stay centered. And then as you come over the top, until you can see the ground and know where you're going, you just basically try to stay centered and nice, easy, controlled, slow roll down this drop. But you can see you can't see when you're inside the cab and you're looking down, and it's whoop. Now this little area, I guess there's like 5 ways to get in and out of this. I think this is called the lunch box. And so this is where we ended up having lunch. We packed ourselves in here, and we tried to make it so people could get around us. There was an awful lot of us. So he's backed up to a spot over there, and then I'm just going to pull right alongside him. And then we have lunch.
Very nice.
And if you've done Bizackwards, a lot of this part of the West Rim Trail, this whole section here is you do on Bizackwards also. So that's kind of interesting, because I just did Bizackwards last Saturday, and then this Saturday on this trail run we were doing West Rim. So it was kind of interesting. Like, I did a bunch of these obstacles, but in reverse. And again, this is an obstacle. It looks like, you know, we basically are going over on the driver's side, kind of over on that edge and then coming up. So the passenger side gets a ramp, and then the driver's tire just will climb then. And there we go. Now, if you see these UTV guys here, this one guy that's in this close UTV starts yelling at our trail guide, being belligerent.
Get out of the fucking way.
Brett,
Yeah.
stop.
You. All right, go.
Yeah, you're good, guys. We're just having fun.
So there's a group of UTVs who were starting to use four-letter words about us blocking the lunchroom there. So they
That's right. Get out of the fucking way.
Stop. What? What? Well, I'm just fine. It's fine. All of us are just doing our thing.
Go there.
Stop. Something wrong with it. Not with it. They're having a good time too.
That was a lot of drama.
You're good. Move on. We're good.
So right about this time, Bill is talking about this obstacle, and then if you don't have lockers, you probably shouldn't do it and just go around. Right about, we get up in here, and this is about when he starts saying it. And so the Jeep in front of me does not have lockers, and so you're going to see him back out, and he's going to be like, go around, I don't have lockers.
Go ahead. I don't think the lockers. I'm not going to make it around without the lockers.
So sadly, we got Bill climbed up this, but I think all the drama from the little creep down there, Bill ended up taking the wrong line just by a little bit, and then he kind of got himself where he was like leaned over and was struggling to kind of get back over in the trail area so he could just climb back up that safely. But he was able to just back right up, no problem, and then get up. I think part of it too was his lockers were not unlocking right away either. And again, that's all because of the drama from the gooper down there. You know, and since I was behind Bill, I was able to see where the line should have been, and then I was able to, you know, make the right adjustment and get right over onto that. And that obstacle really wasn't that bad for me because I have lockers, and I set myself up perfect. But again, it was only because, you know, Bill went through there and I saw where he meant to be, but if he wasn't distracted by that guy, you know, he would have done a good job too. Well, anyway. So he's going to, I think maybe this isn't it, I can't remember. Some point up here, he's going to pull off and then go help on an obstacle. This might be the thing. Maybe not, because I see people ahead. Nope, not yet. So this is another obstacle. It's good to be on the driver's side and kind of like then angle a little bit passenger so that you're kind of hitting these ledges at a slight angle. But you're going to be locked. And so there, you can see there's like a bunch of little steps for you to get up there. And but what you have to do is you have to make a hard right turn down there. And so the key is, as you're going up, you have to turn the lockers off like right at the top before you crest and before you turn your wheels so that they unlock quickly. Because like here, Bill didn't quite get them unlocked, and so then he had to kind of back up and go forward a little bit just to try to get them to unlock, because he wasn't able to make that tight turn at the bottom, and you'll see it in just a second here. you come up right about here, right as soon as you feel like you're gonna easily make it, you want to have that locker off. And even still, it's a tight turn, even with no lockers. Like you can see, it's like, okay. Back up just a little bit to set myself up, because if I would have known, I hadn't done this one before, but I would have kind of been more, ended up centered just a little bit more so I could be at slight angle crossing over the top, so that it would have made that turn easier. But it wasn't that bad. It just,
Pull up a bit past me.
he's going to go guide people through over that obstacle. And then he just basically told me to go up far, so there's plenty of room for the whole group to get off through the obstacle. And then since I'm going to be off to the side, then he'll be able to just pull right around. But it was at this time Shelly noticed that there was a bathroom over by West Rim Light. And so since they were guiding everybody, you can kind of see the route I took. Hyper speed to get over to the bathroom. Boom, bathroom. Now, hyperspeed to get back to the group because they just started moving. And so while we were at the front of the line, now we're going to drop in somewhere in the back. So it was nice. Worked out perfect. And this guy here in that built JK, I think, said get in front. So that was nice. And then here we are heading up to, I believe that's the Wall of Doom, but I'm not sure. That's not the Wall of Doom. That's just an obstacle. It's probably got a name. Or maybe, no, I think that's just a regular obstacle. It's a pretty good obstacle. And you can see the tire marks just staying over on the driver's side. Right, put your tires where it's nice and black from rubber being left. Climb right up, easy peasy. And we just cross right across. This is a good little drop, I believe. Yep. So here, this is the Wall of Doom. And an interesting thing, fun fact about the Wall of Doom is on the opposite side, there's an even steeper drop. And it doesn't look that steep. Like, I have a picture of me coming down it, and it's a nice incline, but the last part, it's like you are really nose down, kind of like that Jeep is nose up, trying to get up there. And basically, you want to just give it a little bump. It's not really a crawl thing, just to give it a little bump to get you moving. Once you get over that first lip, it's not a problem, but it's just that lip, getting your rear wheels to climb up that. Now, if you can see over on the side off to the left of the rock, you can see people come down, and then they, make a left turn to get out of there. And I kept hearing the spotter say, passenger, passenger, passenger to everybody. And so I knew when I was going up, I was going to be like, okay, we'll see what we're doing up there, and then we're going to try to make sure we're angling more to the passenger side on our way down. And it's hard to do because of the way the rock looks and the angle of the whole thing. You're kind of like, you kind of want to go driver. So the whole time she's going passenger, passenger, passenger. And then at the bottom, if you didn't listen to her and you were more driver, then you hit your bumper on the rock at the bottom. Because you can see it drops pretty steep here at the end.
That was the only one that didn't make a noise on the back.
And she said that we were the only Jeep out of the group to not hit her bumper, and that we did it perfect, and that we were exactly passenger where she wanted me. So again, that's listening. So I couldn't see what people are doing, and I had not done that obstacle before, but I knew that no matter what, everybody was being told to go passenger, and they just weren't. So even though I didn't want to do it, I just did it. And so I'm going to try to remember that no matter what my mind is telling me, I want to be just a little bit more passenger than my brain would like. And then if I do it perfect, I won't be touching my bumper. this is not a bad climb. It's a, again, stay to the drivers a little bit, and as you come up that first part, but it's not that bad. But at the top here, you can kind of see he kind of backs up for a second. Kind of gave me some pause, but basically then you want to go a little bit to the passenger side. So I wasn't sure what was going on, so I gave him a little bit of space. And I started going. But you come here and then you come out, and it's like there's little rocks right there on the side that you can see where you're supposed to be once you get around the corner. But you drop down, and then he shot forward, and it was like, whoa, I got to catch up. And I started going, then I kind of waited at the corner to make sure the guy who was coming down behind me could see where I was going. I just try to keep the guy behind me, just within sight. Kind of crazy back here. Because the thing is, it's like we're following a trail guide, but there are trails just zigzagging all over, and this is like open ride area, so like there's like tons of obstacles and tons of stuff where you can just go every which direction. So if you're here by yourself or with a couple buds, like you can do like what we're doing, West Rim, but all the optional things everywhere, and so that's the hard thing, is it's not like perfectly staked out with signs and stuff everywhere. And that's why I wanted to video record the obstacles and some of the turns so that I have a visual guide of where to go, and at the same time I also use GPS to record the track so that I have a personal GPS track of what we did. And then at that point, if I want to deviate, I can. And if I want to go try some optional things at some point and then get back on track, I can. Because then now I'll have this in my memory, basically. one last little climb, and for the most part we're done with the West Rim Trail. Thanks for watching.